notification? Is there a notification?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, very good. Okay, it's there. So that, okay, thank you. So that I will be able to upload this on our drive. Diba? Nakita niyo ang drive. Kung may nakasubmit na sa inyo to the Google Drive, okay, you will be able to access that file. So, i-access nyo ang recorded file sa lecture to today. So that, okay, if you wanted to review or if you wanted to share, let's say that to your share that to your classmates na sa category 1, you can do so. Okay? So please guys, again, please be reminded the next time that you join the Google Meet, make use of your Canvas, okay? Make use of your USLS account so that you can be easily admitted. Nakita nyo, ginamit notification ko, okay, that outside Lasalle is trying to join the meeting. So para wala na kuna notification, automatic na, okay, that you will be admitted to the class. Claro? Guys, am I clear? Just a show of your thumbs up. Okay?
Yes,
So that we
Miss.
can proceed. Okay, salamat. Okay? Natasa with the sign language. If you cannot hear me, just give me a sign. If it's okay, clear na, or raise your hand, you can do so. Or if you do have question, again, naka-open ang akon nga box diri. So I'll just check on your chat messages, okay, from time to time. Okay? So sige, so there are already 23, okay, in the class. So I'm going to start. Anyway, this is being recorded. Others might have this difficulty of getting access, okay, or problem with their connection. So anyway, they'll just join us. Okay? So let's start with a prayer. Let's put ourselves in the presence of God, in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let us pray our Lasallian prayer. I will continue, oh my God, to do all my actions for the love of you. Saint John Baptiste de Lasalle, pray for us. Leave Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So may aga, guys. Okay, so again, thank you for coming to the class, okay, on time. So this morning, I am going to give you na, okay, the lecture about the Module 1. And I hope that you have at the same time read on that explain module. Again, there's nothing required from you on that section to explain because that's the professor's, okay, professor's time na to give lecture, okay, to give an input, okay, to the module. Okay, so as what I have said, it would be really, it is being suggested that as much as possible, you were able to read the whole module, okay, before we will have our synchronous class. Para ano? Para masapos, okay? Para mas dasig, and most importantly, so that you could have na questions or clarifications about the topic. Okay, so I hope you've listened, okay, to that conversation actually of Roy and Marie is a summary of the whole module. So what I am going to do is to emphasize, okay, the points, okay, that is being discussed by Roy and Marie, okay, to explain about this course, at the same time to give an introduction, okay, as the components, okay, of this explained part in the module, okay, for our module 1. So I hope you have with you, okay, who among you have downloaded the PDF file that I've shared? Did you open the PDF file I shared with you? If not, okay, so anyway, there is actually, okay, there is a PDF file, so you can open that one. Okay, so wala ko lang siya subong, hindi ko siya mag-PDF file because no kalapad. So what I will be using is actually the PowerPoint presentation, but I cannot show the whole screen of the PowerPoint presentation because that's why we would see pa may mga notes sa dalom. I cannot present that, I cannot view that, the whole PowerPoint presentation because I could not see you. Okay, I wanted to see you on screen. Okay, so that's why I would like to request for those who have the capacity to show their video to kindly do so, or at least to make na istorya ko. Actually, I am looking more sa inyo, okay, than the PowerPoint presentation, okay, than the screen that I am showing you. Okay, so here, This is actually, okay, again, a topic wherein you would understand the content of consumer behavior. Okay? If you would notice, if you can recall, who among you have listened to the conversation of Roy and Barry? Just a show of hands. Sino nakapamati? At least naka-play man lang sa Roy and Barry na conversation. Wala? May ginamati. Guys, please, all notes, okay, may isa. All notes that I have uploaded, okay, that your teachers will be uploading on Canvas, all files, okay, please take time to read, okay, to do the task, because you only are being required with just 1 hour synchronous class. Okay? Pero ara na siya ang mga materials sa ato na Canvas. So as much as possible, okay, try to open those things. Okay? And be very cautious of the time. If there are times specified, lantawan, you give ya from time to time. Okay? Ako, all my modules are almost complete. But I have actually heard from other students complaining, Miss, ang Sabado lang na siya gin-upload may submission na dayon sa Tuesday. Okay, so amo na ang iba niya nga wala pa sila naka-plus-start sa ilang ang mga module pag ura-urada dayon may ara na nga mga submission. So wala ko for this module, I haven't set a deadline, but then sa second module, I have already identified the submission. Okay, so that to manage your time, again, for those who came in late, to manage your time, okay, so at least you have something to do during the time that we have our asynchronous class. What do we mean by asynchronous class? During the time that we do not meet. Okay, in our class, let's say sa TTH class Tuesday, we don't meet Tuesday, okay? So that is an asynchronous class. Para may ilang taon ko mo, okay, I'll have to check anong lubraho naman supposedly sasanay sa consumer behavior. Okay, why man kami klase subong kay asynchronous. So I'm going to check on the module. I really understand, guys, that you have a lot of things, okay, on your hands right now because your teacher requires you a lot of things, okay, to submit. So during your asynchronous class, see to it that you are checking on the canvas of your teacher para wala ka ma-miss out. That's how you manage your time. Okay? So, claro? Okay, so let's proceed. So why do we need to study consumer behavior? And why should we care? Okay, here. Not only because we are marketing students, but at the same time because we are consumers every day, we need to understand consumer behavior. We even need to understand how we, okay, or as individuals, how do we behave as consumers. Basically, when we talk about consumers, every day we are faced with a lot of choices. We've got to make a choice, okay, we've got to decide. But then, when we talk about choosing, okay, when we consider decision, we always consider the best choice. We always consider the best decision, right? Okay? Because in everything that we do, in every decision that we made, in every choices that we made, okay, so there is an exchange to that. As consumers, what do we mean by this exchange? This exchange could simply mean the money that we are paying. If I am going to buy this product, will I get the most value out of it? If I am going to make this decision, will this decision make me happy? Okay, so basically, kadamo, okay, almost every day we're coming up with a decision that the simple decision as I am going to attend my synchronous class or not. Okay, so the question would be, will I be learning something from this synchronous class? If I'm going to go somewhere, so hindi ko ka-attend a synchronous class, if I am going to go somewhere, let's weigh the consequence, the pros and cons. Which one would give you the best benefit? Which one would give you the best value? So we always consider the value, we always consider the benefit. Okay? So here, when we consider value later, okay, as we discuss the value frame, okay, so we will be considering how much we give and how much do we receive. Okay, so here, in our everyday life, okay, when we talk about decision making, okay, when we talk about consumer, okay, as long as time changes, okay, we have to consider and really understand that we are making actually decisions. Okay, so but then the problem, okay, the concern on what decision, okay, should I take, okay, what benefits should I give more weight than that would be depending on the individual. So generally, when we talk about consumer behavior are actually based on the definition of it are actually based on two perspectives. Okay, so the first one is the human thought and action. The human thoughts and action, actually being discussed ni Roy and Marie. And then the second one is that consumer behavior is a field of study. It is a field of study that involves human inquiry that is developing an accumulated body of knowledge. Actually, it is a body of knowledge, consumer behavior. Consumer behavior research is actually a very interesting topic. Okay, it is actually a very dynamic, topic. Okay, wherein we would know things, we would give meaning to the actions of individuals. Okay, so here on our notes on our PDF file, okay, when we talk about consumer behavior, it reflects the totality of consumers' decision with respect to the acquisition, consumption, and disposition of goods, services, time, and ideas by decision-making units. So that's why, if you could remember the engaged activity that I have given you, okay, last week. So you are being given different products, and you ask your interviewees how they make use of the product, okay, how they dispose of the product, or even from the start, okay, why do they acquire the product? What's the reason, okay, that they would consider acquiring that product? And at the same time, when we talk about consumer behavior, here with a simple definition, okay, you would understand, Galit, that consumer behavior doesn't only focus on purchasing and using the product. But at the same time, even when disposing of the product, there involves a consumer behavior. There involves a decision-making process of whether am I going to dispose this product or not. It involves from the start of whether should I purchase or should I acquire of this product or not. The decision of merely deciding which one should I buy. Should I buy Nokia? Should I buy Oppo? Should I buy Apple, iPhone, or should I buy Samsung? Start pa lang, in the acquisition, there is already that decision-making process. Okay? Even the consumption, ubuson ko na ni siya or mabilin tapos susunod. Okay? Or, ubuson ko ni siya or ma-share ko sa iban or pahulam ko siya sa iban. So that is even with the consumption. So a lot of decision-making is involved from the start that you decide, that you even consider buying a product or not. Okay? Up to the end. So that is actually consumer behavior. Here, okay, as what I have pointed out earlier, okay, where it involves a set of value-seeking activities, okay, wherein people go about addressing and attempting to address real needs. So consumer behavior basically, okay, consider what needs or what are the needs, okay, being addressed, okay, in buying a particular product, or is it reason for me to buy something? So that is a question now. Now, question pala, processing, okay? In so every process actually may value na tanggalin amat-amat. What do we mean by value here? Okay? Even prior to purchasing, okay, before you buy a product, mahambal ka, sige, mabakal ko cellphone. And if I'm going to buy a cellphone, what cellphone should I buy? Even, okay, during the acquisition, mabakal ka pa lang, mahambal ka, mabakal na lang po sang Samsung kay kanami to sang sales lady nila, and the sales lady nila was able to provide me with the information. Hindi ko pa magbakal sa piyata, way mo ko to gintuluan, way mo to nila gin-present kung ano nga mga kung ano ang mga features of this cellphone. So that means to say, even during the acquisition, we expect to get value. In that sense, in that manner, or in that example that we have given you, then we would say then that even prior to acquisition, we decided which cell phone we are going to purchase based on the information given to us by the salespeople. Mabay na lang ko Apple, kay nakita ko damo reviews, nakita ko ang site sa Apple, wherein it has actually given me a lot of information, clear ang features na gi-provide sa akong sang kumpanya, even on their website. So dira pa lang may value na kita nga ginakuha. Okay? Rather than, let's say, buying, can you give me an example of mga cell phones na are not actually known to us, that you could not even see reviews online, that you could not even see the features of the product, so very limited information. So that is actually part of the value that we get, that we consider here in the value being provided to us by the company. So here, another one. So here's the frame. This is the concept, actually, the whole concept of consumer behavior is that it reflects the totality of decision, whether or not, what the products would be, why, how, when, where, or the question of how much, how often, or even how long we are going to acquire, to use, and dispose of the product. And here, this is one of the questions that I have given you. Consumer behavior doesn't only involve product. Why? Because consumer behavior as well talks about our behavior when we avail of the service or of the activities, and at the same time of ideas. That involves, that's how broad consumer behavior is. It's not simply as buying this particular product, tangible product or not, but at the same time, even when it comes to the services that we are going to avail. Should I enroll to Lasalle at this time of pandemic? Or should I consider enrolling to a government school, to a public school because of the tuition fee, which is very expensive? So that is actually part of decision making, man. For most of you, for those wherein that could be an issue for students, decision making, the family has gone through a lot of decision making, has gone through an intense discussion just to simply decide, should I send my child to Lasalle or not? So that is how broad consumer behavior is. It is not only limited to the product, but at the same time, it is limited. It encompasses, it covers as well the products, services, activities, and even ideas. So that is consumer behavior in general. So here, what do we mean by acquisition? Of course, simply, so for some of you, why would they acquire a lipstick? For them to feel good, to boost their confidence. It's really good. I would really know that you've made your assignment, because even mga lalaki na mga students, they were able to have that on their answers. May iba naghambal nga, to boost their confidence. These guys, you students, you wouldn't know that ang nagaling impact dali isang lipstick sa babae. But then because you've made your assignment and you really asked your sisters or your mother why they purchase, why they buy lipstick, some of them would really tell you, just to boost our confidence, just to make us beautiful, or just to make us feel rather beautiful. Okay, so that's with the acquisition. Whether or not should I buy Sarsi? So Sarsi is not a known brand, but Sarsi is cheaper. So that would be the decision made by the buyer. So iba niya, they will not buy Sarsi. So stop na. They will not buy Sarsi because may mga reasons sila nga na-identify. Or they would buy Sarsi because it's cheaper. It would serve as a substitute, maybe because Coca-Cola is not available, so they would rather buy Sarsi. Okay? So usage, on the other hand, is how would you use the product? It's good to know, but there are actually others, okay, that really consider, okay, why I purchase this product? Because I am going to give this product as a present, as a gift to my mother. I'll buy lipstick, not for my personal use, but I buy this one because I am going to give this to my mother. I'm going to give this to my girlfriend. So that's precisely in the usage of the product. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to use the product. May isa naman talaga na, okay, we make use or we purchase Farsi because we use that as our, use that for cooking. Okay? So, lain naman ang usage nila. Yeah? So, that's generally how, okay, we make a decision. And at the same time, when we consider disposing or disposal of this product, basically, ako, hoarder ko, I am a hoarder of the packaging of the product. Even if ubos na ang bottle of perfume ko, I would keep the bottles, wala lang. It's just for the collection ko. I just enjoy the different shapes, the different sizes of the bottles, of these bottles. Even to the point na ginpintahan ko na sa tanan-tanan, the same color, ginboons ko na sa tanan-tanan. But eventually, okay, when I decided to let go of these things, I don't know na kung pinatos na subong. Okay, but then for several years, a lot of bottles na ginputihan ko pag na sila. Okay, so that is how I dispose of the product. Up to this time, I had this habit of keeping the paper bags of this product. I enjoy collecting those things. Okay? Or it could be your disposal as simple as giving your old item to a friend or to a family member or to your cousin, or even sharing that, okay, to the less fortunate ones. So that's how you decide on the disposal of your product. Okay? So far, is there any question or clarification? Guys, if I am talking fast, so you can call my attention para mag-slow down ko, okay? Or at the same time, if you have questions, okay, you can actually ask me. Okay, so here, when we talk about consumer behavior, baka di mas mentioned, it covers the actions, thoughts, okay? Human action. At the same time, it is a field of knowledge. It's a body of knowledge. Okay, that's why they would even compare, okay, that consumer behavior is important or it's related to even other fields of knowledge, such as the economics, the psychology, the sociology, and even the anthropology. Okay, so here later I am going to discuss that one. And at the same time, okay, on the other side of the PowerPoint, okay, you would see that consumer behavior actually is involved or involves different processes, stages. From the moment we recognize the need for the product, or even that need nagbulak siya or nag-complicate. Again, you just simply need a cell phone, but then because you have this one for a particular features of a particular brand, pwede ka man lang kabakal Samsung, pwede ka man lang makabakal Oppo. Okay, but then when you were being asked by your mom, by your parents, what product, okay, what particular brand are you going to buy, you would give them a specific brand or specific model. Why? Okay, because you have actually identified features or values for the product. So may wants ka na, hambal mo man, pwede lang ko makabakal sang this specific brand or specific model. So that's where the want would come in. And at the same time, the exchange. So when your mom purchased that product, ano ang mode niya sa payment? Did she buy that in cash, or did she use credit card, or did she use installment? So that's now with the exchange. So si mamo, when nagkamba si mamo, sige, utangon, kung nalag and 0% interest, ginuway yung nanay. Ariyon 0% interest na lang ko. Kaya kung naghatag na yada siya sang interest ng kumpanya, mambala, sige, baka dala ta na cash kay kanugong sa interest na bayaran ta. So there involves a decision as well. The cost and benefit. Why should I buy this one? What are the benefits that you will get from buying this one? Where in fact, you can actually buy a different brand. It's still a cell phone, pero gi-insist mo gid because this one has different features. May mga specifications kapag ginhatag. And then, when your parents give you that particular brand that you really wanted, what's your reaction? Diba? You feel happy. You feel satisfied. Rather than, kung ginbaklan, kato ni mama mo, sa product na hindi mo gusto, okay. Do wala ka gana. You're not happy. You'll not be as happy as having a product that you really wanted. Correct? Okay, so there, the satisfaction would be really different. Okay, and at the same time, the value that you get. So you would tell your mom, see, mom, I have a better way, or I can easily access. Okay, this is more useful. Okay, because of the features that this cell phone has as compared maybe to the other brand that you might have considered buying. Okay, so may ara kita nga mga values that we get from that particular product or brand. So here, when we consider marketing, okay, as part of the different knowledge, okay, body of knowledge, we can actually associate marketing, consumer behavior specifically, or on economics. Why? Because in economics, we study the production and consumption. And in marketing, specifically in the study of consumer behavior, then we would know how much am I going to produce this product, considering the demand for this product. Okay? So how or would they buy of this product considering that I am going to price this at such a high price? Diba? So economics, there is the supply and demand. So same is in marketing. Should we produce this product? Will there be a demand for this product? And if I am going to sell this product, okay, would this product set at this price? Will the customers buy this product? So amo na siya nga related with kasama actually si marketing and sa economics because of that particular aspect in marketing, field in marketing, which is consumer behavior. Okay, because we are dealing with the consumer. So although the economists would focus on the macro perspective of consumer behavior, which is bounded by a broad assumption. So what's the economy of China? What's the economy of the Philippines? And if this is the economy of the Philippines, how much should I price my product? So basically, dira sila ang macro nga perspective, of economics. Okay, that they have to consider the economic situation of the country. So kung ako ang business, ako ang negosyante, and if I am going to sell in the Philippines, knowing that this is the economy of the country, ano ang ako na i-consider? So should I consider selling my product at such a high price? That's why successful to China because of the product that they sell in our country, because we can only afford cheaper products, pero ang style nagalain-lain in that particular aspect. So that's the macro perspective. Whereas in the marketing perspective, we do consider individuals. Okay, we can even to the fact wherein we would consider customizing our products to the individual. Sila masarangan mo, okay, i-customize ko na siya, but then of course, you have to pay higher. That's why we have the niche market. We can individualize. We can customize our products to our consumers and users at that very specifically to the end users of the product. So it involves the commodity consumption of nations over time, economics, and tracking changes in consumption with different price levels. So with the economics, they understand, okay, that this is the social, okay, cultural composition of the population. May ara, gali ng mga middle earners, may ara man higher earners. So that's then, okay, when they are able to set different price levels. Okay, later on, or in one of your subject would be price, okay, price strategy. You would know that even, okay, companies would consider giving different price levels just to maximize the profit. Kaya kung ila lang na-set lang nila into a particular price level, so only very limited lang that will buy the product. Pero setting that in different price levels, there would be different set of consumers, okay, that would buy the product in that particular, in the different price levels. So that's why mas ma-maximize ang company ang ila na profit. Okay, so here, when we consider consumer behavior as a body of knowledge here, this is very associated with the consumer behavior with the consumer psychology. Because, diba, as what I have said, it is basically because we are being affected, our decisions are being affected with our thoughts and with our feelings. That translates siya sa behavior ta. So for the psychology, diba, psychology is the study of human reactions to the environment, including behavior and mental processes. That means to say, when a consumer would decide, okay, they have to consider even, ang baltagani, consumers are irrational. Okay, one of the questions that I have given you, are consumers irrational? Basically, yes. Most of the times even, okay, consumers are irrational. We are not at all times rational. Not unless, if we're going to buy a cell phone, gina-rationalize ta. Na ang mabuy ko ni sa cellphone because of the different features. Because based on information, this one performs better than the rest. Okay? So, dira ta gina-rationalize. Pero most of the times, we are irrational. Because we rely on our feelings. Namian ko ni ang nagbakal ko na, basta namian lang ko, nga nagbakal ko na, kay namian ko, kay kalukagwapa sa akong ng tawon, ang ayan ko di amuning piliun ko. So we are being irrational. Or I will buy this one because I already have my loyalty, okay, with this particular brand. Mabakal ko Apple, kay almost all my products na mas 5 lang siya. There is already more na siya on being irrational because you are more into the loyalty rather than the performance. Pero iba ni mambal ko, hindi ka mas mayo gina siya because of the features. So, rational, taga-pinsar ta. Okay? But then, if it's more on the feelings, okay, the loyalty, you cannot even explain, then that is being irrational. Okay? So, here, that involves, okay, the behavior and then the mental processes. So here, so it explains the thoughts again, the feelings, and even the behavior that represents the human reaction. So that's the psychology. And the social psychology and then the cognitive psychology are actually the sub-disciplines of psychology. Because generally, kita as consumer, there are a lot of people affecting our decisions. So ara na ang social nga part, the social psychology. It focuses on the thoughts and feelings and behaviors that people have as they interact with other people. So we consider the interaction. So kung if I am going to buy this one, basi maano gid ko, mangayo gid ko sa Apple 11, okay? Ma-Pro Max gid ko. Pero ang hinagali nga implication, ang manghud mo kinahanglan man sa iya nga gadget pagid. Okay? So dira, it is as well affecting other people. It is affecting even your parents who will be paying for the gadget that you are actually demanding from them. Okay? Or a decision as simple as, sige, kung di ka bakal, nasa duwa ka laptop, duwa ka mo ka magutod, makagamit pa ko sina. So that is where now, how it affects other people. A very simple example would be that one. Okay? So here, at the same time, another sub-discipline of psychology is the cognitive psychology, wherein it studies the intricacies or the details of mental reactions involved in information processing. The cognitive na. Guys, later you would learn that in 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 talking about consumer behavior, duwan ang very strong. The cognitive and then the affective or the affect. The cognitive, it's the mental reaction involved, okay? And the other one is ang feelings involved, okay, in your decision. And the other one, okay, of course, generally, when we talk about marketing, where it involves a multitude of value-producing seller action that facilitates exchanges between buyers and sellers. Wherein, if we're going to talk about this one, makahambal, kita nga, okay, when we consider marketing, we consider consumer behavior. We consider consumer behavior because as businesses, okay, as individuals, provider of products or service, we always consider that we give the best value to the consumer because competition is present. Competition is present. Okay? Kung may competition, of course, we see to it that we give the best. Okay? That we deliver the best, or else, makadto gina sila sa iban. So in the marketing aspect, okay, in the marketing as part of or basically being affected, okay, by how consumer behaves. So the question of the how, the whether you're going to buy or not, okay. So what do people really buy? If we understand how consumer behaves, then we as businesses can actually come up, okay, can decide on what product that we are going to offer to them that will provide them the best value. To give you an example, when we talk about the Kindle, what do people really buy in buying that product, in buying that gadget? Here, when we talk about Kindle, they actually are buying for information. The accessibility to information, kaya ara na, okay, mga bookworms, ano na, they could actually read on that very small gadget, okay, and then information is being stored there. Stories are being stored on the Kindle. So amo na siya kasimple, okay, amo na siya kasimple nga importante, ginaintindihan ko sila nga ano ang kinahanglan sa consumer ko. They just but merely need, okay, they merely need information. Another one is in buying milkshake. Why do people buy milkshake? Maybe to quench individuals' thirst, or they may be hungry, so that's why they would buy milkshake. But here, based on a study in US, people or individuals have a higher consumption of milkshake before 10 o'clock in the morning. Why so? Because they have observed, okay, that people during this time, that's the time that they would commute for work. And because of the traffic, because of the long drive that they would have, they found milkshake as their companion. Companion to what? Okay, while waiting, while there is traffic, while going to work, they get themselves, okay, busy, bored na sila eh. So they get themselves busy by drinking, okay, on milk tea. That's the reason that they would even have that ka-creamy, okay, sa milkshake. Why? Para at least madugay ang pag-consume sa milkshake. If you would notice that, if you would buy that leisurely, okay, consciously, we're actually ginasingpot ang mga creams na ara pa, okay, nga ara pa sa suludlan sa milk tea. So that is how they behave when it comes to, okay, consuming milk tea. Just to kill that boredom, okay, at the same time, the traffic, okay, that they have to hurdle going to work, okay, and at the same time having that food or having that drinks on their hands. Kay mobile sila pwede nila ma-take out. So that is actually the reason, okay, why people would buy. So if you understand na, okay, bored ni gali ang market ko, okay, okay, kainit gali, while going to work during this time, then the company was able to identify, okay, milk tea would be a very good companion to these people. May ara na ma-prefer sila. Itong iba niya, pwede gusto makabakalas ang dalagko man, tol man, nga coffee nila, if they're coffee lovers, going to work, they would have that, they would spend time, they would rather bring with them a coffee, no ilang ginasip lang yun, going to work, because of the time that they have to spend, just to reach their offices. And at the same time, when we talk about deciding on what am I going to sell to my market. So in marketing, we would say that really, here, one good thing of the marketing, of marketing as a area in business is that we know who is our market. We know who are the consumers that we are going to cater. So in this way, the example that I have given you is as simple as know your market, segment your market. I hope you remember the term segmentation in your principles of marketing or in your marketing 100. That when you segment the market, you divide the market based on certain characteristics. We tried to create a homogeneous group out of a very complex, dynamic, and heterogeneous market. Ginrupo ta sila based on the similarities. Grouping would be depending or sometimes would depend on profile sa market. Okay? Income sa market, the socio-cultural aspect. Okay? So in this way, we would say, okay, pwede man lang kung makahatag sa one product for all. I need not be very specific, okay, on the features of the product. Basta shampoo, basta gabukal sa din, that's it. Basta hamot sa din, that's it. Okay? But wala ito na gina-consider is that shampoo for a newly treated hair, for a newly rebonded hair, for a color-treated hair. We will consider that. Basta shampoo, one shampoo for all. Okay? Kung sa una, if you could remember Sustagen, I don't know if you're familiar pa with the brand. Sustagen before, it's just but a one product for everybody. They have Sustagen Classic. Sustagen Classic, mapabata, mapa-high school, mapa-college, even the tigulang would drink that. They would drink that Sustagen Classic. But this time, it's different. We have Sustagen Junior for the bata, and we have Sustagen Premium for the older ones. So, naka-specify sa target market. That's how they do business now. They have certain products for certain markets. Or even, they would consider creating different products to different sets of consumers. Toyota would come up with a Lexus for their consumers who are willing to pay more. They have actually introduced Lexus for those consumers who would consider a high-end product or a luxury cars for them. So that's why tinuba ni Toyota, sige, mo ko Lexus para makakompete ko with the high-end brands of my competitors. And I can as well provide, the cheaper ones for different markets. Maybe I could provide them with Wigo. Okay? So may ara sila with different groups of consumers and different products being offered to them. Okay? That's how they do business. Or another product of the Stride Right, wherein they just but merely focus on providing shoes for kids, just for kids. Okay? So that's how they do business now because they understand the consumer. So now, if we're going to consider consumers then, makahambal with the consumers who are basically being influenced. Okay? Our decisions are shaped with so many factors. Okay? Factors that influence how we make decisions. As simple as buying a clothes. Okay? For ladies, we can relate to this. When you see rather a product, okay, or let's say a dress, what would come to mind is that, okay, this one is on sale. Sanugon, makasave ko, mabakal ko ni. Okay? Or it could be, okay, let's go to a particular store, kikanami ito. I have the loyalty of going into this store because the store is so fun. Dito lang ito nakatuwa sa nakauka namin kasi lang mga sales lady. Or I would buy the product because I saw this somewhere else in the social media. I saw this being advertised, okay, by my favorite actress. Okay, so they would consider follower ako na, and I like the clothes, okay, that she wears, so I would buy this one. Okay, or you would wonder, okay, or you would consider what would other people think of me when I buy this product. Okay, would they love me? Okay, would they love me seeing me in this particular product or not? Okay, so basically, damo decision stuff. So here, we always consider the value, okay, the value that we get from the product. That's why there is a consumer value framework. It represents consumer behavior theory, illustrating factors that shape the consumption-related behavior and ultimately determine the behaviors associated with the consumption. Okay? Associated with the consumption. Wherein, we would know there that when we purchase a product and we are paying something for that, we always consider that we get something in return. So that's the value network, in the value associated with the consumption. So here, when we talk about value, it is as simple as what you get, and what you get would be in terms of the benefits, the convenience, the prestige, the experience to what you give. To what you give is not only limited to the money that you are paying, but even when it comes to the time, to the effort, and then even other opportunities. Okay, so that's how we compare, okay, to what you get, okay, to what you give, or to what you pay. We only get value, okay, if what we get is greater than what we pay. So kung ikaw ang individual, okay, if ikaw ang manubakal, okay, buyer in that sense, okay, so you always would consider buying something that you get more, okay, than what you pay. Okay, so we are comparing the value to the price. So here, so this is what I said earlier. Okay, when we talk about value, we always consider the utilitarian value and then the hedonic value. When we say utilitarian value, it is derived from a product that helps consumers solve a problem. Solve a problem. That means to say, ginapaminsar ni consumer nga, okay, I'll get benefits from this. So these are the benefits that I will get. Sa hedonic, it's more on, okay, the immediate gratification. I'm happy using this product. Like for example, you would go to Disneyland. You will not get a utilitarian value out of that, okay? But rather, what you get is the experience, okay? The experience or the happiness that you get, okay, from that purchase, or from that experience of going to Disneyland. So that's the hedonic value. Utilitarian, yeah, okay, you have identified, okay, the benefits that you get, okay, from that particular purchase. Or may ara ka, okay, may ara solusyon na gin-provide sa imo, okay, ang ina nga product. Take for example, buying a bleaching product, okay? A bleaching product is actually has a utilitarian value. Why? Ano ang benefit na mag-get ta? Okay? So, whitening of the product or sanitizing. We do not consider even the process of cleaning, okay, just to have that product, okay, na mag-bleach siya or ma-sanitize siya. Biskan ka sa lalaki, biskan ka pinilas na kamot mo, okay lang. Kaya ang end, what is important to us is the end, okay? So it is a means to an end, which is that end is whitening or sanitizing a product. Whereas in the hedonic value, it's the experience. It's just but the happiness that you get, okay, out of that experience. Okay, so that's how we would compare the utilitarian and then the hedonic value. Okay, so that's the comparison between the utilitarian, because we are making use of the rational, okay, reasons, and there is a solution, okay, we find a solution to that consumption. hedonic, yeah, it's more on the gratification, it's more on the feelings, okay? It's more on the experience and the emotions, okay, that we get, okay, from that product. So that's the hedonic part. Okay? And so when we talk about generally the importance of consumer behavior, though it's summarized na siya in this slide here, why is it important that we have, okay, to understand consumer behavior? Because for the marketing perspective, basically it provides an input to business and marketing strategy. An input, okay, to business or marketing strategy. So ano nga product ang ibaligya ako para sa inyong set of consumers? Or how, at what price, or at how much am I going to sell this product to this set of consumers? So that is actually the marketing strategy that you can come up with, okay, because of consumer behavior. At the same time, it provides force that shapes the society. Okay? So you have to consider as well the effect of the product to the society. You have to consider the effect of the product to the environment. We need to consider as well the ethics involved, okay, because of this decision, okay, because of the products that we offer to the market. And at the same time, it provides an input to making responsible decisions as consumers. Responsible decision, diba? We're weighing the benefits and the cost that we pay. So if I'm going to buy this product, would be the best decision? Will I be as well a responsible buyer, okay, if I buy this product? Will I be affecting other people around me if I make a decision to buy this particular product? So that is how important consumer behavior is. Okay, so again, importance of consumer behaviors to marketing managers when it comes to market segmentation. Coming up or actually thinking of the right combination of product price and promotion to a particular set of market, okay, conceptualizing the right product for them, okay, and producing a product for them. So identify the most valued customers, and at the same time, we do consider creating the customer relationship management. This CRM actually is what is being done by most of the companies. Si SM Advantage card siya, okay? Si Robinsons, they have Robinsons Rewards because they wanted to create customers' loyalty. So customers would go to SM basically because they know that they will get points. Okay, there would be loyalty, okay, that they get if from buying from the particular store na may CRM sila. Okay, so at the same time, consumer behavior and in the society, consumer behavior creates the society once lives in because we understand our consumer, we understand how it would affect the consumer, so we can create that, okay, may ethics na gina-consider, may business ethics na gina-consider because our decision will be affecting the end users. Okay, so importante isa for the society. You have to set a price ceiling or price floor or else the consumer may siya kabakal nga because basically sobrahan na kamahal. So that's why gina-set the government, okay, BTI would monitor on the prices because they know it will be affecting the individuals. It will be affecting the consumers in general. So consumer behavior topics can enlighten customers. Okay? It can enlighten when it comes to poor budget allocation. Okay? You give them the money that your parents have. So which one would you buy? Okay? The role of emotions in making decisions. Will that make you happy really, given the benefits that you get from that? Or basic, it's more on what people would say, okay, about having a particular product. Environmental effects on consumer behavior. Okay, so you would know the impact as well to the environment, to the consumers. Okay, so basically through the studies makita na siya, okay, this would be the impact, okay, of a particular product, of how this company even behaves in the industry, so maapektuhan. And avenues for seeking redress, okay, to or for unsatisfactory purchases. So, okay, because of the cancellation in flights. Okay, so airline companies can offer a certain redress, okay, or certain exchange, okay, just to appease, okay, just to at least make their customers happy in a sense, okay, because of a failure in a service or a product. Okay, so mga unsatisfactory purchases. And even the internationalization, companies are required to deal with geographical and cultural distances. They set up. We know that pandemic would be affecting each one of us, but then we cannot do away with education. So we make use of technology. You even have batchmates who are actually taking the course who are abroad. Okay, so it's still possible. Okay, and we can work on this because of the situations that we are facing, but thanks to technology. So basically, that's the effect as well of internationalization because kabalutas ang impact sa individuals. So we make use of other means, just to deliver education to consumers. And consumer perception will determine the success or failure of the product. Okay? So if you are being perceived, if your product is being perceived as low quality, as cheap ones, okay, so there would be, okay, an impact to the product, okay, to how they would, okay, how they would purchase, okay, if they would create certain loyalty, okay, to a particular product because, okay, of the feedbacks or failures of the product. And of course, the technological advances is what I've said. Okay, it's possible to do business still. You can still order product from Shopee, which which the suppliers will actually be coming from China. Okay, so international na in that aspect. And of course, the changing economy. Okay, especially Subong that we are facing with the pandemic, and a lot of people are actually being out of job. Okay, added to the number to the statistics of unemployed. So there would be a really a very hard decision, okay, for company on what product they are going to sell, on how they would price the product because it is the economy at present, okay, which is basically being affected by the pandemic. So makita nyo, even if you would go to the malls, you would find those items mostly na nakasale na, because those items are actually items na sa mga February pa na nila nga napagwa. Buay na nabakal sa March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. This store should actually replenish their product, add new products on their rack. Ibanda twice a month nag-aabot. Every week may nag-aabot na sila nga stock. But then because of the pandemic, these products barely moved. Okay, why may nagbakal? So you would find these products being sold at a discounted price. Okay, because they deal with the effect of the economy, okay, so the effect to the economy of this pandemic. Okay, and at the same time, they know that there's a lot of people who were now, okay, unemployed. Okay, so limited prospects in the workforce basically affected by the economy. And consumers are cautious about expenses and they react favorably to price cutting policies. So di na subong ang bakal ato na, of course, they would buy basic necessities. They would buy food. Salamat na lang. We are not buying maybe product. We are not buying clothes this time, but we are now more frequently visiting grocery stores. Okay? So that's how it affects the consumer behavior when it comes to the decisions that they have. So basically, that is the content of the first module. Why do we need to study consumer behavior? Why there is really a need to understand, okay, to understand how consumer behaves, because decision making is really involved, okay, in every individual, okay, when we come up, okay, when we are being left with a decision, and because of the presence as well of competition. Okay, so that is module 1. Okay. So if you have any clarifications or questions about the topic or even about the work that I have done, that I have given you through Canvas, You can ask me, just raise your hand, or you may use the chat box, okay, for your question. Are there any questions? Those who have videos, may I request you again, ara pa kamo da? Hindi ko na makita, o mga balo kung na-cut ko or what, because others have already put off their video. So I would not know kung may nagagiyo pa. Dira na siya ako, dira na siya ako, nag-gauge kung nagagiyo pa kamo. So meaning still, my connection is okay. Are there any questions or clarifications? Do I talk fast? I have no choice, but because I really have to discuss the content of this module, okay, so that you would really appreciate, okay, the objectives, okay, that we have for this particular module. Are there any questions or clarifications? Do you appreciate consumer behavior as a field in marketing, as an area, okay, a specific area in marketing? May I know
Yes,
okay, when you make your assignment, what's the realizations that you have? Did you find the assignment hard, or chill lang anay? Because that assignment would actually make you at least think na muna yan pamangkot man. Okay? Even with the decision of how I am going to dispose this product, that is actually the consumer behavior, because we behave really different from others. Are there any questions or clarifications?
Miss, excuse
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Wait lang, Miss.
Okay.
According to the kwanda, Miss, to the instruction you given, Miss, sa evaluation, Miss, which to
Yeah.
compile the 5 is. The 5 is, Miss.
The 5 is. You're confused with the 5 is?
No, Miss, the portfolio ba, Miss, nang
Okay.
i-include pa, Miss, ang ang evaluation, Miss, kay to the
Okay.
portfolio.
Okay. Ang evaluation you actually is the portfolio. So what
Yes,
you will
Miss.
do for the evaluation is to compile, you engage, you explore, and you elaborate. So ang tatlo nyo ka mga sabat, i-compile nyo na siya, kaya mo na siya ang akon na igaduhan for the compilation. Although gin-check ko ginaya isa-isa ang mga sabat niya guys sa engage, okay, sa engage, sa explore, and sa elaborate. Na-check ko na. Pero I will still be giving you points, okay, in your evaluation from the portfolio nga i-submit nyo lang, may grado na kamo. Why I'm doing that? Because I wanted you, okay, to at least, I wanted to evaluate if you know how to follow instruction with the use of Canvas. Amo na siyang patch. Okay, you compile. Kay what I wanted you to know is that kabalo ka mo sang pasikot-sikot na sa Canvas. Okay, because we will be using this platform. Okay, so gusto ko that you will be familiarized with everything, with the submission, you're familiar with the submission, with the deadline. So what you will just do lang in your evaluation is just to compile, click the submit button, and you drag your file pa sa submit button. Muna na siya, as simple as that for the compilation.
Bali,
okay?
Bali, ang kwansang portfolio, Miss, engage and explore, and elaborate lang, Miss.
Yes, tatlo lang.
Sige.
Butang sa folder, okay? Or kung gusto niya, pwede lang sa isa ka word. I-label niyo lang yun. Engage, explore, sabat, elaborate, sabat. Pero kung iba niya, kung gusto nila, iba niya kayo nag-create sa line-line ng file, ibutang sa folder. Okay? So, isa ka folder, may tatlo ka files. May si engage, may si explore, si elaborate. And then you just drag that going to the drive. That's it. Walang ginasa obrahon. And again, okay, welcome. This one, the recorded video, I am going to share this in our Google Drive. You can actually access, dito mo yapo sa submit, pagka-submit nyo, kita nyo ito, may Google Drive ko to. you can just merely, say for those especially yung mga classmates who are not online or may intermittent sa connection, you could download that you could download the recorded file. Janet, miss ko ma-explain naman, explain naman yung subong ginobra ko. Wala ka mo brown sa explain is just but mamati. Ako na ang sa explain part. So wala ka mo task sa explain. But to listen to the lecture or discussion. Kung may discussion, yes.
Bali, miss, mapasa kami sa sa Google Drive, hindi sa Canvas.
Yes, sa Google Drive.
Okay.
How to submit sa Google Drive? Click sa may Canvas. Gapon na pero paagi nyo sa Canvas click nyo ang home bala. Diba? May home dira. And then, you click submit. So, of course, sa may Google Meet, you click submit and then you drag the file. Dito yung sa paagihon. Sa home lang. Ano pa? Clarification. Welcome, Janet. May clarification. Clarification. Wala na? So if there's none, wala na? Question? Sigurado ka mo ha? Okay, again, so I'll be sharing the recorded file in our Google Drive. Okay, so for those who wanted to access this and listen sa mga instructions, you can download the video. So if there's none, let's call this a day. Leave Jesus in our heart forever. Okay, so see you.
Forever.
See you on Thursday next week, guys. Thursday na next week.
Thursday next week.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye,
Thank you,
miss.
miss. Bye.
Okay, welcome.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Salamat man. Welcome.